What's up, everybody? Ben Cruz here, the head of sports programming at Vover, and welcome to another episode of One and Done here on Vover. The concept of One and Done is very, very simple. One guest, one question, one answer. That's it. We're looking to bring you the best guests and the best questions on every show, which should lead to the best answers. If you've got a dope question you've always wanted to ask someone we're having on the show, download the Vover app and drop your questions in the featured questions section. And if we end up using your question, we'll be sure to, shout you out here on the show. And there could be a little Vover prize headed your way. On today's episode, we welcome a 4-time Emmy-winning TV host. As of yesterday, he surpassed the 300,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. And speaking of that video platform, this gentleman has amassed over 102 million views on YouTube. He has interviewed some of the biggest names in Hollywood and the world of professional wrestling, something that is very, very near and dear to my heart. Oh, and let's not forget, he was also named the 2011 Cosmopolitan Magazine Bachelor of the Year. He is the host of Insight with Chris Van Vliet on the Blue Wire Podcast Network, and one of the best interviewers I've ever watched and listened to. He is Chris Van Vliet, CVV. This isn't my question, more so just a greeting, but how are you doing today?
Man, I feel like your intro is going to be longer than my answer here. The pressure is really on. But Ben, so good to see you. Congratulations on everything that you have going on, and so good to be able to connect with you again.
Thank you. Yeah, we're old Blue Wire buddies from back in the day, so it's great to just connect here again. All right, CVV. So you spend most of your time asking people questions about their lives and careers. So I thought I'd flip the script a little bit on you and make my one question about your career. Is that cool?
Sure.
You ready? All right.
Let's do it. All
Great,
right.
let's do it. So, Chris, looking through your YouTube page, you've been involved in some of the best and most viral celebrity interviews on the freaking internet. So, can you please rank these career interview moments in order of most memorable? And I'm just going to list what I found, and you can rank them however you want.
Okay.
The Rock, a.k.a. Dwayne Johnson, giving you the middle finger on live TV.
Right.
Dakota Johnson and Leslie Mann hitting on you in the middle of your interview with them. Fantastic stuff. Tina Fey and Margot Robbie turning the tables on you and interviewing you about your life. Rapping part of Miami with Will Smith. Keegan Michael Key saying your name like substitute teacher from Key and Peele.
Rice.
Yeah, which was fantastic. And Anne Hathaway being fake offended at your Catwoman suit question. Those are the 6 moments I've picked for you. Rank them for me.
My goodness. I should have got a pen to write these down. And I will say, Ben, thank you for not preparing me for this. It makes it so much, I'm dead serious about that. Yeah. It makes it so much more organic. The fact that you don't email the question in advance. Because when you did first pitch this idea to me, it's one question, it's one take, it's one answer. Here we go. I'm like, oh my God, the pressure's on. What if my answer is yes? And then the episode's done.
Hey, that's the risk I run. You know what I mean? So I just want
that would actually be a terrible question. And, Tony Robbins always says the quality of your life is the quality of the questions that you ask.
There you go.
So, man, wow, what a question. And this is certainly something I've never been asked before. I will say 5 of those 6 moments were completely organic, not planned out, happened in the moment, and I rolled with them.
Yeah.
And the only one that was prepared was rapping Miami with Will Smith.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I love that song. And I was so truthful when I said to Will Smith that before I moved to Miami in 2016, all I knew about Miami, or 2015, all I knew about Miami was what I learned from Will Smith's song Miami.
Yeah.
I'd been there once before for a friend's birthday for a weekend, and that was it. So I listened to the song Miami on repeat. When I knew I was going to interview Will Smith on the red carpet for Suicide Squad, I listened to Miami on repeat for a week, because my question was going to be, and it was the question I asked him there, which line from that song best describes Miami? And whatever his answer was going to be, I was going to do my best to sing along with him.
Wow. Okay. I like that.
To rank them. Wow. So the other 5, by the way, just kind of happened and I just went with it. And
yeah,
I learned pretty early on when you're doing celebrity interviews that if you don't swing for the fences, you really risk the chance of just like getting pretty mundane content that, the guy that interviewed you or the guy that was in the room before you or the woman that was in
Right.
the interview after got the same answers. So
Right.
one of my very good friends, Jake Hamilton, does these incredible interviews. And I was so jealous of these moments that he would get. So I started going into these interviews going, I'm going to swing for the fences.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't end up being a home run, and if we keep with the baseball metaphors here, if I strike out, nobody needs to know except for me and the 3 or 4 other people in that room.
Yes.
And that's it.
Yeah.
If it does work, oh my gosh, we've got an amazing moment.
Yeah.
So I will say I'll go from, I guess I'll start at number 1.
Sure.
Is that what I should do here?
Yeah. That works.
I think the moment with The Rock was that's got to be number 1. And so to kind of set this up for people who haven't seen the moment, The Rock gives me the middle finger live on TV. I was working for the Fox station in Miami. And to kind of set this up, we're at the red carpet premiere for Ballers season 2. And the red carpet was supposed to start around 7-ish. And then I was going to be live on TV at like 7:38 or something like that.
Okay.
So we figured red carpet will start. We'll do the interview with Dwayne Johnson. We'll record it. I'll send it back to the TV station. And then at 7:37 or whatever, 7:38, I'll say, hey, we're live at the red carpet. Interviewed The Rock earlier. Here's what he had to say. Instead, and this is what happens in live television, instead, the red carpet started a little bit later. And Dwayne starts walking the red carpet, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm like 7th in line or whatever. And I'm timing this out. Like each person's going to get like 2-ish minutes. And I'm like, holy crap, he's going to be here during our commercial break. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
And sure enough, we go into commercial. He starts the interview next to me. And I'm like, oh my God, I hope that they take a long time so that when they're done, Rock's coming to us and we're right back from break. Instead, that interview goes real quick and Rock starts his interview with us like while we're in the commercial break.
Yeah.
And my producer's yelling in my ear, like, whatever you do, make sure he stays. We need to get The Rock live on the air.
What?
Stretching out the interview, stretching it. And red carpets are very quick. They want like a 90-second, maybe 2-minute interview max.
Yeah.
And finally, I'm hearing the feed of the commercial in my ear. I'm hearing my producer also like telling me, stretch. We're almost back. And then finally, Rock's still there. We're back to commercial. They go right to me live. I go, Rock, we're live on the red carpet right now. Oh, we're live. I can say anything I want. Well, I mean, you could, Rock, but we're live. The funny thing is Rock grew up in Miami, so he was familiar with our show. So as I'm continuing to try to stretch out the interview and make this entertaining while we're on live TV, I turn to the camera. I go, let's do a people's eyebrow off. So I turn to the camera, do the people's eyebrow. Rock behind my head gives me the middle finger. I don't see it. I turn back. He's doing the eyebrow. I go, oh my gosh, Rock, you're the best. Thank you so much. I give him a hug. He walks away. I'm back on camera going, there he is, one of the biggest stars in the world. We talked to him here live. How amazing is The Rock? Isn't he the best? Something along those lines. And I end my live segment. I unplug my microphone, take out my earpiece, and my producer calls me and goes, The Rock just gave you the middle finger on live TV. I went, what? They said, yeah. And if someone complains, we might get a fine from the FCC. And I went, oh, and they're like, yeah, we're going to have to edit that out when the show re-airs in 3 hours or 4 hours. Like,
what?
Wow. I ended up putting the clip up on YouTube. It ended up going viral pretty quickly. The Rock ended up retweeting it. He said it was one of his favorite moments ever. And just a great moment from a guy who is just so giving in every interaction that you have with him. They always say you shouldn't meet your heroes. But if your hero happens to be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, do whatever you can. Go out of your way to meet him because he's everything you want him to be. So I grew up as a huge wrestling fan. I dressed up as The Rock for Halloween. One year, I would ask people in my high school random questions simply so I could yell, it doesn't matter what you think at them.
Yeah.
So that's why The Rock moment is definitely number 1 for all of those reasons. I think, man, how do I rank the rest now? Jeez.
I picked the some of the best ones on there. I watched more than these, obviously, but these are the ones that really stood out where I was like, this is wild. This is awesome.
And thank you. I'm going to go with the Anne Hathaway moment for number 2. And simply because she was so kind in that moment and just so fun in that moment. We had such a playful interaction. Crazy to think that was 10 years ago when that happened.
I saw that on the, as I was looking back, I was like, that.
Yeah.
And I think I've seen it on my YouTube algorithm like so often where I just assumed it was like 2 years ago, but it was 10 years ago.
That video still gets hundreds of thousands of views a month on my YouTube channel. I get tagged in it on TikTok all the time.
Yeah.
I will say that I didn't mean for the question to come out the way that it did. Literally the day before, the first photos of her as Catwoman came out, and I'm a huge Christopher Nolan fan, and I just wanted to ask her about it in general.
Yeah.
And I was trying to make this a fitness question because I love working out, and I was actually really curious to hear what her workout plan was. I made a big mistake by not planning out the question in advance. I just kind of went in and I think I wrote on my notes like Catwoman workout. And I was like, oh, cool. If I have time, I'll ask her about that. And what I was trying to drive at was like, you know, you always hear people who are like, oh, I gained 20 pounds of muscle, or I lost 30 pounds of fat, or whatever. And I've asked the same type of question to Hugh Jackman or Gerard Butler or Christian Bale. I just didn't phrase it in the best possible way here. But Anne Hathaway's big laugh, her fun playfulness, and the fact that it just created this fun moment that still lives on. That's what I'm going to put that one at number 2.
Okay.
And I've interviewed her since, and she's been so very kind to me. And yeah.
The image that pops up too, it really draws you in. Like, oh my God, did she really get offended? And then once you watch the clip, she was so nice to you. So that's awesome.
I left that room going, did I offend her, or was she having fun? And the more I think about it, she was just having fun.
Right. It's a solid top 2 so far. So 4 more. What do we got left on the board? We've got Dakota Johnson, Leslie Mann. We've got Tina Fey and Margot Robbie rapping Miami, and then Keegan Michael Key. So we got 4 big ones here still left on the board.
So I'll go with Dakota Johnson and Leslie Mann next.
Okay. Yeah.
So they're promoting a movie at the time called How to Be Single. And Dakota Johnson's also coming off of like all of this immense amount of fame from 50 Shades, right? So this is her first movie that's kind of outside of that. And everybody's leaving this interview room. And let me set this up by saying, when they do these celebrity interviews, they're doing like 40, 50 interviews in a day. So the celebrities sit in one room in a hotel. They fly in journalists from all over the country, and you've got about 4 minutes to do an interview with them. And they sit in the same room, and then journalists just kind of cycle through every 4 minutes. So all of my friends and colleagues are leaving that room going, man, that's a tough room. That is a tough interview.
Oh boy.
And I went, oh geez, like this won't be very good. And I went in with, I was going to have this shtick about like, I had these terrible pickup lines and I wanted them to rank my terrible pickup lines, which you kind of see a little bit at the end of that interview with them.
Yeah.
But I thought, let's just have some fun with this and see what happens. So I walk in, and my whole goal with interviews is to walk in with an energy and hope that they can bring their energy up and maybe, you know, have some fun. Like I want to walk in having fun, being like lively and energetic, and hopefully they realize that they can do the same. So I walked in just like having fun and I don't know, just being lighthearted, I guess. And Leslie Mann just like started having fun with me. And I went, oh, well, let's see how far we can push this. And I was working on a show called Deco Drive in Miami where we would air, like, we just loved moments that felt human. We loved celebrity moments where they weren't like giving their textbook answers and the answers they've given everybody else. So I just wanted to roll with it. And I just kept kind of talking about it. And I left that room going, oh my gosh, look how fun Dakota Johnson was. That was it. I knew she had a lot of fans with 50 Shades. And I thought, if I put this on my YouTube channel, 50 Shades fans will go, oh my gosh, look how fun Dakota is.
Right.
That's all I thought it would be. I uploaded that, I think, on a Friday afternoon. No one really cared about it till like Monday morning. One big website picked it up, and then everybody else picked it up from there, and it just skyrocketed. And it's important to point out, this was well before the Me Too movement was a thing. This was 5 years ago. This was 2016 when this happened. And I was just having fun with them. And it was just fun kind of rolling with the punches and seeing what would happen. I don't think that moment would exist in 2021, at least the way that it played out like that.
Yeah. That's a very
so that one, and that one again, that keeps popping up everywhere. So that's just a fun moment and cool to see that side of these two huge stars just having a lot of fun.
And Leslie Mann talked about it on Seth Meyers too, right? Like she to talk about it again.
Yeah, and then also brought it up on the Today Show as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just fun. And, and then I ended up seeing Dakota Johnson like years later for a movie called Bad Times at the El Royale. And as soon as I walked into the room, she goes, "Oh my God, did me and Leslie Mann sexually harass you?" And I said, no, hey, no, it was fun. She's like, "No, on behalf of myself and Leslie Mann, I'd like to apologize." And that's on my YouTube channel with not nearly as many views.
Right. Wow. Okay. So
that's three. I'll go to Will Smith for number 4.
Yeah.
Because Will Smith has this incredible energy that just fills up whatever space that he's in. And what was cool is before that red carpet moment, we were in this like neighborhood in Miami. And so we're in Miami. They're introducing the cast of the movie for all the fans that are in the street. And the song Miami hits and Will Smith raps it live in front of the audience.
Of
and
course.
I'm like,
yes.
Oh my God. Like Will Smith singing Miami in Miami. This is amazing. I already had this question prepared. So as I was saying to you earlier, I had thought about this. I'd planned this. I was hoping it was going to work out. And man, Will Smith is just so charismatic and so fun. And even just thinking about it now makes me excited for the infectious energy that he has.
Right.
So yeah, what a cool, fun moment, especially for a film that, let's be honest, didn't exactly perform very well.
Yeah. It was, they could have done better.
Not very good.
Could have done better.
Yeah. So then that's 4. Number 5, it's going to be the Keegan Michael Key, just the Key and Peele bit there. And I have loved that substitute teacher moment for years and years and years. I have a friend named Aaron that I call Aaron. I have a friend named Blake that I call Balake. And everybody knows the bit. Even if they don't know the bit, they know what Aaron is.
Yeah.
So I just thought, again, like, I'm going to swing for the fences. If I try this and they play along, great. If not, nobody needs to see it. So I threw it out there and Keegan was all over it. And we had so much fun. And when the interview was done, Jordan's like, that was pretty good stuff, man. Like, that was great. Like, almost like, hey, you're kind of an actor. And I'm like, hey, like, thank you guys for teeing that up for me.
Yeah. And I was also impressed how he was able to manipulate your name, right? Like it's pretty straightforward.
I knew he'd come up with something.
Oh yeah, no, he's brilliant and a genius, but it was still, I would never have, if we were doing that bit together, I don't know if I would have thought anything close to what Keegan came up with. It was
I don't know. Like, I look at your name and I'm like, Benjamin.
Yeah, and I've gotten that. I've gotten that in regular life. So I don't.
No way.
Yeah. Well, when I used to get made fun of, in school, people make fun of your name. They'll do anything.
Yeah, Benjamin Cruz, right?
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly.
So I guess that leads us to number 6 here. Last, but certainly not least.
Not at all. This is a great time. This is a great 6.
Right. Well, all of these are great. Thank you for coming up with 6 amazing options. Tina Fey and Margot Robbie. I did not expect any of this. So they're in a movie where they're playing reporters and journalists. And I knew earlier in that week, someone I worked with had said, hey, give me a few fun facts about you. And I rhymed off a few little things. I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
And then when I got into this interview room, they had cards prepared, I guess, from the movie studio.
Yeah.
Prepared about me. So it caught me completely off guard. Ended up being the super fun moment where they turned the tables on me and also every other reporter, to be fair, that did this junket. They turned the tables and were asking in-depth questions that they would never know, but it made for this. It's such a fun moment. And boy, they are both such beautiful human beings inside and out. And to be able to share that time with them and share that moment is something I'm extremely grateful for.
That's awesome, man. And there we go. And those are just the taste of the epic interviews you've experienced in your life. And everyone should peep Chris's full YouTube channel to see even more. Chris, that's it, man. That's your one and done.
That's it, one and done.
Yeah. I wanted to throw it to you now to plug anything that you've got going on, new episodes of the pod coming up, anything you've got coming up on the aforementioned YouTube channel. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, again, thank you so much, Benjamin, for having me on the show. It's so good to catch up with you. And I'm putting out 2 to 3 episodes a week on the podcast with all kinds of different guests. So you mentioned, some wrestlers, yeah, but also athletes and comedians and directors and just people who are at the top of their game. I had an astrophysicist on a few weeks ago and asked him like literally any question you'd ever want to ask an astrophysicist about wormholes and time travel and all kinds of stuff like that. So I just want to have conversations with people that I find fascinating and people who are at the top of their game. I want to figure out how they got there. So my podcast is called Insight with Chris Van Vliet. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts. And on social media, I'm just at Chris Van Vliet. And recently on TikTok at Chris.VanVliet. So you can find me on there as well.
Oh, did someone take Chris Van Vliet on TikTok?
Some guy named Chris Van Vliet took it.
Wow. That's shocking. Oh, man.
Apparently in Holland, it's not an uncommon name.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Shout out to that Chris Van Vliet too. Well,
sure. Yeah.
CVV, thank you so much for coming on One and Done and hope to have you back on again soon, my friend.
Thank you. And great question, by the way.
Thank you. We'll talk soon.